Hello and thanks for joining us on The World Now. Let's begin with comments by the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who says he will succumb to the concession of his nation's territories to Russia. His comments come ahead of a scheduled meeting between the U.S. President Donald Trump and the Russian leader Vladimir Putin on an end to the war between both nations. A U.S.-Russia meeting is scheduled to take place on the 15th of August in Alaska. Let's bring you more details in this report.
Hours before announcing his planned meeting with the Russian leader, President Trump signaled that Ukraine might have to cede territory to end the war. But in a Telegram post today, President Zelensky said Ukrainians would not give their land to the occupier. He emphasized that for over 3.5 years, a lot of Ukrainian soldiers have died while fighting for the territories Russia wants to possess. President Zelensky also made it clear that though he's ready for real solutions that can bring lasting peace, Ukraine would not give Russia awards for its invasion. The embattled president wants his country to be part of the peace process being negotiated by the U.S. with Russia. Many European allies are also worried that the U.S. president is trying to reach a deal with Russia without Ukraine. The Ukrainian president has been careful not to criticize President Trump, but his post on social media makes it clear that he would not accept a deal that would involve losses for Ukraine. The U.S. president's deadline for Russia to agree to a ceasefire or face more sanctions has passed without consequences announced.
For more on the proposed meeting and the need for an end to the ongoing war, global affairs analyst Ejike Okpa joins me from Dallas in Texas. Thank you so much for joining us at this time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, it's good to see you back in your home state after you visited Nigeria. Thank you. All right, so in the upcoming U.S.-Russia peace talks now, can true peace be achieved without Ukraine at the table?
Good question, and at least Trump and Putin, we'll meet next week, and then during that meeting and after the meeting, we'll know what to expect. Right now, it's a welcome development that the two leaders are meeting, and I'm sure Zelensky is feeling like, hey, I should be in the meeting, but let him just be patient. He's met with Trump before, and Trump is, meeting with Putin. At the end, then we'll see what the proposal is. Peace comes after, back and forth. You have to negotiate your way into it. This thing has been so much into, going on for 3.5 years now. You have to give up something. This is a war. Somebody's going to walk away feeling that, okay, I got something. Somebody's going to feel away that I got something too. You want to do a win-win as opposed to win-and-loser. We don't want to see a loser situation here. We just want to see, hey, you guys have come to terms and deal with it, and let's hope that those terms don't come back and become another thing that is going to hurt the situation. So Zelensky is feeling that, hey, I have to have everything. I have to return the land has been taken. Oftentimes in a war of this nature, you don't get everything back. You just have to give up something.
Well, and as the strikes hit Kharkiv and April, in Ukraine's voice being sidelined, is Ukraine's voice being sidelined in the push for peace?
Well, not necessarily, but you have to recognize, when the elephant and the grass fights, who's going to get trampled on. Ukraine is able to sustain whatever they have done, so far because of American support. Remember, America gave them weapons. Giving you weapons is one thing, and then you being able to use it effectively. They have done some things to hold their ground for 3.5 years, but now it's obvious that the longer this thing goes on, the more damage Ukraine is going to suffer. And there was a survey that came out a few months ago. The Ukrainians said, we don't want this war. At the end of the day, remember, it's going to be rebuilt. You can physically rebuild the nation, but how about families that have lost loved ones? That scar is going to go on for a long time, and that's a psychological damage that oftentimes has no cure for it.
All right, so Ukraine's war has deepened A global food crisis with wheat and grain exports disrupted. As a major supplier to much of the world, the stakes are high. Could this meeting change the war or ease the food crisis?
Well, I mean, if there's peace, then they will be able to reclaim what it is they were doing as the wheat supplier to the world. I'm sure they're able to do some of it, but they are not doing a whole lot of it because, they have to fight. They have to. It's like, you go to sleep with one eye open. You don't know when the attack is going to happen. So now with this, Ukraine, is going to get back to its farming advantages. Remember, there was a mineral deals, that U.S. struck with them. So now, with that commitment, U.S. is going to have commercial presence in the country because for them to get access to the mineral, it's going to be a physical mining opportunity, and that probably is going to put any further attack away because if U.S. is invested, Russia wouldn't want to be in there attacking them because that's just going to lead to another level of conflict.
All right, could Zelensky's firm stance on territorial integrity complicate these negotiations?
Well, if he's stubborn, if he's stubbornly opposed to everything, he will say, "I want to get everything I have lost." It's going to make it harder. This is one of those things. Let the pride go away. Ukraine and Russia used to be member of the USSR until the fall of USSR and every independent nations came out of it. But remember, there were some other nations that were in that USSR that also supporting Russia because they looked at their own situation and said, we cannot afford to engage, Russia in this sort of conflict. So Ukraine is because, the NATO people are saying, hey, we want to put you in there, and Russia say, heck no, you ain't going to do that. You are too close for comfort. So again, love thy neighbor. You can love thy neighbor, but you don't have to tolerate them. You just love them for the sake of loving them so that you two can have peace. But if you go against that golden rule of love thy neighbor, then you're going to have an incessant conflict, which, the average Ukrainian don't want. It's blood that is being shed. It's not water. It's people that are being maimed who are going to carry the scar of war after the war has ended. So, leaders supposed to also look at their ego and look at the people that are being affected unduly because of their own intransigent nature and say, you know what? I want to give this up. Again, in economics, we all know that, that phrase, opportunity cost. What are you willing to give up in order for you to have something else? And that's what I think Zelensky should do in this situation, face the world and say, we put up a good fight, but, I think it's time to end this stuff, for the sake of humanity. And we're hoping that Russia will respect that humanity's sake and stop any further aggression on them.
Global Affairs Analyst, Ejike Okpa, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that gold tie. Next time I'm in Nigeria, I'm going to take it from you.
Definitely. I expect that.